Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto and the E30 project. Today, it's brakes. Brake lines, brake pads, brake discs, hopefully not calipers, hopefully not a master cylinder, but it's brakes. So that's going to be the focus of today's episode. Let's get to it. All right, I got a whole bunch of new parts here. I've got some ceramic disc brake pads, power stop, whole new set of brake lines, front and rear. So I believe these are the fronts, and then these are the two sets of rear lines. So those and those go together and our definitely worn out braking system here. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the lines because we know these rubber lines are super old, probably collapsed inside a little bit, and definitely are at the point where it's not worth even trying to do anything with other than swap them out. I also do have new rotors coming. They're literally in transit being delivered today. All right, just for fun and a complete lack of profit, I'm going to grab another item, but I'm going to cut this brake line open and just look at the inside to see what kind of condition it was in after all this time. All right, we'll set this up on a perfectly clean block of wood here for our surgical cut. Oh man, wow. All right, you know that is a hard brake line. So that's a pretty new blade. And you can see here, you can see how much that has shrunk down over the years. There's just a little pinhole left in there for fluid to pass through. So it was definitely smart to replace these. We can presume that the rest are in similarly good condition. So it's a good thing we're doing them all. I'm gonna get to all the rest. From FCP Euro in a larger box than I expected, but I got fronts and rears. Hopefully I got the right ones. All right, in the hopes that we can keep these calipers moving freely, I'm just going to clean these pins up and the places they go. Throw a little lubricant on them. Just a maintenance type deal here. Trying to get the best life out of this brake job as I can. Okay, if you were one of the 4 people that actually watched this video and said, bro, there's no way that those pistons are going to move around in them bores, when I went to go put the calipers back on, and I thought that you might have been crazy. Well, it turns out you were the ones that were right. I was the one that was wrong, because the piston was definitely not moving in this bore. There's not a lot of corrosion on it, actually. I can clean it up with a little bit of 1000 grit or 800 or 400 or whatever I have here. And I also have a couple of these flexible hones that drop down in here. And with that and a little bit of brake fluid, I can refresh these calipers. Gimbal won't pivot down far enough to get an overhead shot of this, but I've got my hone in there, and it's tight but not super tight. I'm going to throw some brake fluid in here. I've got the bleeder valve closed, and then I just used the old brake hose that I used to blow the piston out. When I cut it off, I just threaded a bolt in there just to keep it from leaking all over the bench. And big thing it's just like dingle balling a cylinder. You just have to be careful not to get into the seal. And it shouldn't take very much to clean this up. Tried. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this out. So my solution for this is to take a piece of 800 and a little bit of brake clean and just wet sand it. Just need to get it smooth and clean. All right, I lost the battle with the caliper and primarily with this seal. It's still pliable, but I think it is swollen and damaged beyond repair because when I had that seal in place, the piston would not move very easily at all. Now the piston moves nice and freely. Yeah, and just for comparison, this is the passenger side piston. You can see it's got a bunch of pitting on there. That one might actually not be savable. Well, the verdict on these calipers is, unfortunately, it's got... I'm going to use this because I already know what's going to happen, but right there, all the way across there is like a line of pits. So what that tells me is that I probably could make this work. Even with new seals in the calipers, that's going to leak and cause a problem. So I'm probably just better off at this point putting these back in as cores and ordering some either reman or new calipers. And I'm just going to do that all the way around. Front brakes are done. I ended up going, and the local auto parts store had a set of calipers, front and rear, all the way around. So I've got nice shiny new calipers, shiny rotors, as opposed to this junk. This is going to be a little challenging. I had to remove one of the heat shields down here, and up underneath the car is the two brake lines, the soft ones that go from the chassis back to the axle here. You can see that one there, which goes over the rear subframe and connects up behind it there. And I think I can just barely get a couple of wrenches in there, one on either side. There's the other one. So I'm going to see how, like, this side is really easy to get to, and I already broke this one loose. So I can change this one out pretty quick, provided that I have that one back in place. All right, the bottom side's all wrapped up, which means this side is all that's left. You can actually see the original Ate on that hose. Do they put Ate on the new ones like that? No, it's all just printed. So swap out the caliper, the disc, that line, let some fluid out, and pads, and this side and the rear of the car is wrapped up. All right, so brake job is done all the way around. I still need to bleed the brakes and finish flushing out all the old fluid, but I think we were successful in not draining the master cylinder, which is always a plus. Yeah, so new pads, rotors, calipers, hoses, basically everything but the master cylinder. I'm hoping there's not a problem with the master cylinder, but I'm going to find that out real quick. Unfortunately, I'm out of time, at least for this episode. So we're getting really close to having the E30 done. Quick check on our list here. We've crossed off brake pads and hoses. I didn't have calipers on here because I didn't think I was going to need those. Still got to do those tie rod nuts. Still got to find some seats. Next episode, we're going to be fixing the glove box. The hinge broke off the glove box, so we're going to come up with a way to fix that. And a few other odds and ends, and then we can just tear this whole list off the windshield and it's done. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the E30 series. Let me know down below what you think. And until next time, get out there and work on something.